Tlholo, and I will be the person conducting the Q&A session. So basically, I'm going to call the cast forward, and then we're going to give the audience an opportunity to ask them what they wanted to find out about the movie. So today's a very special day for Black excellence, and I'm so happy that we're here supporting our boy, supporting our girls that were involved in making the movie. And wow, like imagine your friend telling you like, hey, I'm thinking of making like a short film. Like, do you ever expect it to happen? No. Exactly. So when he sent those, the what do they call this? The link for the movie, I was like, no, there's no way. But you know what? We thank God, and yeah, let's begin. So firstly, I'm gonna call Lesedi Molokome, the supporting actress and producer. Please come take a seat. Yes. And then we are going to call Humulemo, Brian Moyo, the man of the hour, the writer and director and the producer. Thank you. And then we're gonna call the woman of the hour, Courtney Appies, the main actress. Oh, and Daniel Makonta, executive producer. I hope I didn't butcher that. Okay, so how do we do this? Should I introduce the person and then the role, and then you guys can just ask whatever you want to ask? Do you get me? Okay, so let's start with Daniel. Daniel, as the executive producer, right? Do we have any question for our executive producer?
I'd hope not.
Why?
We shall.
Where is Violet? Is traveling.
Violet is.
Oh,
yeah.
yes. Oh,
She's
sorry
actually
about
in
that.
France.
Is she in France?
Probably.
She's
Oh,
actually,
probably. Okay, so
actually-
Nokolo Bosi couldn't make it because she's on a trip for her anniversary. So let's hope it is France. Okay, guys, any questions for our executive producer? Okay, we have one question over here. Let's go.
Hi, everybody. Mr. Executive Producer, question mark from my side. How does, or what does it take to convince you to fund something like this as executive producer? Because I'm sure you hear many things, I'm sure people come to you with many ideas, and you kind of have to pick and choose the best from what you may be offered. And you say, how did Mr. GB Moyo convince you?
It takes. I've been friends with him for a very long time as well. We went to varsity together, so it wasn't a complicated decision to make.
Okay, one other question for him at the back.
I think it's for everyone. I think what was the hardest part about shooting this movie? I know some of people are not actors, so what does it take? Like, yeah.
I guess everyone will answer. From my side, it's just understanding film in general. We've never done this before. This is our first attempt, and there's things that we assumed when you're actually watching film, and when you're actually doing it, it's completely different. So that mindset has to change, and there's like a lot of stuff you have to do in the background to understand, okay, this is actually how it's going to work. And you know, like sometimes you're speaking and you're like, shit, this is actually going to appear on the film. You know, like very small things that you didn't consider, and also like angles as well. Like there's mirrors, you need to consider every single mirror. If there's a mirror in a certain place, listen, you need to be out of that mirror, otherwise it just gets awkward. But I think those were the things that I struggled with the most. I don't know what you said.
I'm the person who acted without experience. So I think for me, I guess the hardest part, just onto what Daniel has said, it was a lot about shooting and making sure that we've got the right angles, the right lighting was a big thing. You guys might have not seen it in the video, but it was very dark in the house. So, or in the apartment that we were filming in. So just playing around that quite a bit. But I think for me, in terms of the acting, I took a lot of director from her, a lot. And that's why you're on Netflix now. Yeah, I think that for me was one of the two big things. It was the lighting, number one. But luckily we had like a very good videographer. I don't think he's here today. So that helped a lot, but definitely there's certain things that we take for granted just watching that really can mess up a movie very quickly. Yeah.
Hello everyone.
Hi.
I firstly really want to thank you all for coming, because the hardest thing for me was getting a script with no character reference and trying very hard to not play myself, but also when you are an actor and you are given a script and you have characteristics that fit that character, you are able to easier research what type of character you need to be. But when you don't have any reference and you only have yourself and you try not to play yourself, that for me was the hardest thing. Because I think like even when I watched myself, I'm like, is that me? Like, you know, do I act like that every day? I don't think so. That camera. I'm joking. Like, I do get nervous, and it was, for me, the hardest part was accepting this character as the girl that I want to become. And not, I don't know who she is. Okay, fine. Do I like over the top and hi guys, welcome to my YouTube channel? Or do I just channel her and create her and just become what the word says about her? And what I did like while I watched this is that it looks like it's not scripted. It looks like it's so natural. It looks like we were just having conversations, whereas I had a 15-page script, sir. And yeah, that was the hardest part for me. Trying or building a character from no other reference than the script.
Okay. I think it's his turn.
Yeah, I'll just take it from here. Okay, thank you. That was great, guys. Thank you so much. Daniel, thank you so much for your answers.
We have a question.
Do we have a question? Okay.
I actually do have a question now. Yes. To the director.
Okay. Can we wait? Sorry. Can we get to that? Can we get to that? Yeah, we'll get to that. Please keep that in mind. I'll keep you in mind as well. Okay. So next we have Lesedi, our producer, and our one of our characters, supporting actress. Do we have any questions for her? Yes.
So obviously, the biggest theme around it is you don't really know what's happening in someone's life, behind the scenes. But other than that, what do you think was one of your biggest takeaways from being part of this entire, production? For like acting, directing, whatever your role was, like what is something else that you feel like you took away in your own personal life experience?
Your biggest takeaways. Go for it.
The biggest takeaway really was the message in the movie, and I hate to say it, but at the time when we shot it, it was just around, I think COVID had happened, and there were certain lifts, and a lot of people had lost family members, friends, and that sort of thing, and really, the timing of it, I remember when certain things were happening in the media and all those things, was like, geez, we should have taken out that movie sooner, but there were things outside of our control that didn't happen. So we're grateful that we're here now. But I think at the time it's really, and I mean, it's still true now, is that you really don't know what's happening in somebody's life. You really don't know. And we've gone on to our different careers and still have this on the side as well. But even with interactions with just people, you really just don't know what's happening. And there's a billboard that goes around saying, be kind. And every day when I see it, I'm like, you really don't know. Like, you're in corporate, some manager's doing the most to you, and then you think that you need to separate that because you really don't know what's going on. So my biggest takeaway was really, this movie at the time mirrored a lot of things that were happening in the world that you really don't know what's happening in people's lives. And be careful what you wish for, because you really don't know the cost it comes.
Thank you. That was great. Thank you. One more question for her.
During lockdown, where did you get the alcohol from?
Yes.
Our director has resources. So does our executive producer. But it had already lifted. Yeah. Just in case somebody in parliament.
Thank you guys. Give it up for Lisady. Thank you so much. That was beautiful. Okay, and now to our actress, the main character, Courtney. Okay.
Yes.
I almost called you your captain.
Oh,
Candace,
Candace.
yeah. Okay.
Captain.
So do we have a question for her? Yes.
Firstly, this was brilliant.
It was brilliant.
My question is, so Candace seems like a bubbly character. Like she's really like fun, outgoing. There's like literally no symptoms that she's going through the most behind closed doors. So my question is, and the message, main theme is check on your friends. How can one go about actually checking on you? Because okay, it's in twofold actually. There are people you can tell, okay, there's symptoms, and then there are those you really just don't know. So how does one go about checking on their friends?
Yes. How do we check on our friends who hide it really well?
I think it's very important not to accept no for an answer. Sometimes you need to tell someone you're not okay and I'm going to help you. I'm going to get the help you need. And they can hate you, but as long as you knew that this person was not okay and you had to tell them in the most bluntest way, because sometimes people don't actually want sympathy. They don't want to be comforted with a lie. They want to be told that, you know what, the reason you're not making it is because you're not taking yourself seriously. You're not waking up in the morning, going to the gym. You're not doing that. So don't expect sympathy. If you do not take no for an answer, like you must have that with your friendships, because I even said to my parents, I'm going to have a meeting with my friends who did not arrive today. Because I take my friends seriously. And if they show up for me, I know that I can rely on them. I know that reliability is difficult because we have our own lives. But say that you can't rely on me, friend, not for this. This is not where I'm not going to be on time. I'm sorry, I was very late. But that's not the point. I'm just saying, don't take no for an answer, and you should want the best for the other person. And if they don't want it for themselves, you need to also know when to stop. Because you could be pushing someone to become something that you want them to become and not what they really deserve or their full potential. So I think don't take no for an answer when you can help someone. Even with yourself, don't say, Ish, I'm so lazy, but fine, let me just call this person because they need me. Don't be that kind of person. Be like, I'm coming now, or no, I can't make it, I'll call someone who can. Or, you know what, I'm not the best person for this, but I will find someone who can.
Wow. Love a present friend. Okay, do we have another question for her? Okay. Oh, okay. Hi.
Hi. So, if you were to change something about the story or your character, so what would it be and why?
I would add more people. I would add more people because I think, like you said, there wasn't much signs that you're not okay. But when you are having an interaction with this individual, and an interaction with that individual, and an interaction with that individual, it's also about the energy they give you. So if maybe there were an amount of other people that I had different experiences with, they would have been like, okay, this is really a build-up of your day was hectic. But it was more like in the movie, I think the focus was about the psychological, the mental, it's fine, I look good, so I can still get through this day. And okay, fine, now they're gone. Damn, they left me scarred. Okay. But I think I would only change the amount of characters. I hope I answered your question.
Okay, thank you. Any more questions for her? Okay, hi.
Hi. So I want to know what was the vibe
what was the vibe like on set?
And Illuminati! Yeah! Illuminati! Ah, it was nice. Okay, back to Candace. It was very nice. Like, no, it was really nice. They got me McDonald's.
Wow.
10,000 for McDonald's. They paid me to be there. Like, and I mean, I was just doing my job. I was just saying my lines. It was such a good vibe. We actually had more fun. Like, we had fun. It was very easy to do. They were very understanding. She was great. Even Violet, she is a snob, but she's not a snob like that. But yes, everyone was like very easy to work with. And I'm glad that it took one day. Like, we were working very well together. They're like, he called me one take Courtney at the end of the day. Because we were just having one takes. One take scene done. I'm like, are we not going to check? No, we good. Okay, let's move on. Because also I knew every line. I knew every full stop. I knew every space. Because I literally read that like the Bible every day.
Okay, thank you. Can I ask you one question? And I'm sorry to be a Debbie Downer. So, in the last scene, your character said a lot without saying much. How did you prepare for that? Did you connect with that in some kind of way? Or?
I did. Yeah. So, as an actress, there's something called emotional recall. And by the way, I'm a drama coach. So, in the classroom, I always tell children, this is not where you act. In my class, is not where you act. You're always acting in front of your teacher. Good morning, ma'am. And then when you come to me, you want to say, good morning, drum. No, say hi. Say hi like a human. Don't sing in my class. So for me, it was about, when you come into my drama class, you have to be neutral. You must be yourself, not who you pretend to be. And then my class becomes chaotic, and I allow them. And then I said, I let you be. But now I'm going to channel that energy. Try and find something that you want to create. So you have to be imaginative. Ish, guys, I'm going to go off topic. Let me not talk about that. Anyway, the emotional recall that I'm talking about is you need to be able to know what you are not so that you can become the things you have to. So the things that break me are the things that I am not. Unfortunately, in that film, I was hurt by my mother. Ooh, I better not cry. I was hurt by my mother, but I don't think parents know how they hurt their children. They don't understand it. I was hurt by my mother because I disappointed her. Not that she said it, but I knew it. And she didn't have enough words to say, girl, you disappointed me. You see, even now, emotional recall. So the way that made me feel, to know that I've disappointed someone and they can't stand me right now. Or they don't look at me the same way right now. Like, you are my role model. Like, I just want to make you proud. I just want to make you happy. So now I've disappointed you, and what role do I play now? Have I failed the ideal daughter that I'm supposed to be? Have I failed you? And why can't you confront me and say, girl, you've disappointed me? Yeah. So I had to go to a message that she sent me where she was like, I'm not happy with this. I feel like this. And I wanted this for you. And I wanted that for you. And I was like, but that's not what I want. Yeah. So I'm going to have to disappoint you to make myself happy. So, oh, thank you, girl. You're so sweet. Okay, but I don't want to ruin my makeup.
Yeah.
Yes, so it was about emotional recall. You have to find, that's why I say you need to be able to be neutral. You need to be able to know that if this person does what my mother, maybe if I disappoint him tomorrow, and I know that you're the way that made me feel the last time, I don't want to feel that again. I think I'll do better. I'll improve. So with emotional recall, it's about reminding yourself how you felt, healing from it, but just not being triggered when it happens again. Yeah. Yes, because that's the healing. Did I answer your question?
Yes, you did. I'm also a social worker on weekends.
She good. We good now. We good now. Love my mom. Love her.
Okay, and now we're going to Khumulemo Brian Moyo, the man of the hour. The reason why we're here today. Woohoo! Yay! Woo-hoo! Okay, so before we start with Khumulemo Brian Moyo, I'm just going to ask us to have a moment of silence for his late brother, Wipilo Motlatlego. Can we just close our eyes for a few seconds just to honor him? Thank you, guys. Thank you so much. Are you okay? Okay, guys. So we're going to move on to Khumulemo. Do we have any questions for him? Yes. Yes, at the back.
Okay, so I wanted to ask, I know that you guys have mentioned COVID and check on your friends. I know COVID was a big time where you actually you were checking on your friends. But obviously this was an issue that was prior COVID, right? So I want to know what inspired you to write this movie, or what inspired you to put this message across?
So before I answer that question, I just want to thank everybody for showing up. Not just for showing up, but for showing out. You guys look beautiful. Yeah, I know. I think for me it's very emotional to put words on a paper, turn it into a script, shoot it, and then today we have a premiere and everybody's showing up. You guys could have been anywhere in the world. I'm glad you're here. I won't forget you when I'm rich and famous, by the way.
Thank you.
So just to answer the question, so my brother, he was the one who, when I was growing up, I just wanted to be like maybe make it, study something, and then he identified that I was a good writer as a kid, and he always pushed me to do that. So during the time, there was a short story that I had written. It was called Murdered by Men, which was what was happening to a lot of women in South Africa. And I think what we saw from those cases is that the people outside, when you look at them, everybody looks beautiful, well put together. But even the logline of the movie is, who are you behind the filters? So at the end, the whole part that we saw, there was the vlog, there was just her showing her not so real life. And by the time she put the camera down, then you saw who she was. So that was what it was inspired about, to tell people that it's okay to actually put down your camera and come to us as who you are. Yeah, I hope I answered the question.
Thank you. Another question, please.
Oh, okay. I wanted to ask, because I was worried that he was not okay. Yeah. Like when he wrote this. And I kept on asking him, are you okay? So I want to ask you, when you write pieces like this, because he also wrote a book about how to get away with cheating. Anyway, you'll tell us about that. So I want to know, like, how do you feel? Like, do you write and you stop and you feel? Or do you feel and then you start writing? Like, what's the process with how you write?
So I've got this character that I made up in my head called Melanin Brown. She shows up for all black women. So it's basically about, I don't know what it's called, but it's like I can sympathize with people's pain. So when someone tells me what they're going through, how I understand it is by actually writing down the pain. And then when I read and I reread what I wrote, then I start to understand, oh, this is what the person's actually going through. Because sometimes we hear, but we don't listen. So writing forces me to actually listen and to try to figure out how can I come and understand this person's footsteps and what they're going through.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you. Any more questions? Oh, okay. We have two. Can we take the two? Yeah.
This guy.
Yeah.
Hi.
Hi.
Beautiful work. Just want to know, in terms of like how universal is the story? Because there was no words or dialogue in a sense. So were you afraid that that could be lost in translation, or was that the intention? That's the one question. And then the other question is just to congratulate you guys and to say, when is it going? Like, how's everyone going to experience this thing? Because I think the message is not even a COVID message. I think it's everyone should see it at least once. So.
To answer the first question, so in the movie you have a protagonist, which is the hero, and antagonist, which is the villain. So in most movies you can see it. You have Batman and the Joker. So in this movie, the protagonist was Candace, but the antagonist was the depression. And you don't see depression, you don't see it on screen. And I always say depression's like that one friend who invites you to come and spend time with them and tells you, no, you don't need to call that person, just sit with me. And then once they've pulled you into their circle and once you feel loved by them, then they just leave you there and you feel like there's nowhere to go. So then you say, okay, how do I stop the pain? So we always look at the suicide, but we don't look at the depression that came before that. So yeah, I was afraid that people would miss it in translation because it's like shot like an actual vlog. It was actually shot with a very expensive camera. And the cameraman had to hold the camera.
And I had to do
And she had to do that with her hand. So, and then we shot it also with natural sound so that it could be like a vlog. We didn't want perfect sound. We wanted to capture the birds. We wanted that whole, as she's speaking, just so that you could actually, so when you watch it, you think, oh, I'm just watching a vlog. And then the actual movie starts when she actually puts down the camera, and then she shows the pain. But nobody sees it, and the light goes a bit dimmer. To say that in most cases, all of us, we stand here together strong, but we don't come as a community to cry. We actually want to cry on our own, or sometimes we don't, and then the antagonist, which is depression, wins. So it's like, when you watch it, or when I was watching it for the first time, it's like, okay, so why did you commit suicide? Your life looks so perfect. And usually that's where it comes. Like, if you see the people also like Robin Williams, he was one of the biggest comedic person. People are comedy, and that's the person you don't actually check on. You check on the person who's visible and who you can see something's wrong. But the person who's actually happy, making happy music, we don't check on that. Yeah.
Thank you. And one more question from Jose. Oh, and Sire. Got you.
So I wanted to know, again, congratulations to everyone. Turning a book into a film is not something that many people do. And this, of course, is inspired by a book that you have written. And I'd love to know the process of filling in those gaps of what might be missed from book to film. Because we know there's some people say, I'd rather read the book first than the film. And then, I think in light of that, then I'm going, what conversations do you hope we leave here having? Other than just say, check on your friends. But we are here with friends. What conversations do you hope we have around the dinner tables like they had? What conversations do we hope social media starts to represent as a reflection of seeing such a story?
I think like today we are gathered here to like watch a movie, right? I think the idea behind it is that we can also gather in pain and gather in sorrow. So we always have gather in different types of situations, birthday parties, this and that. But nobody says, hey guys, I'm going to invite you guys all to my house, and what we're going to do is just cry and talk. So I think if we can speak and create a culture where we can come together and also come together and say, okay, we're going to have a place where we're actually going to be vulnerable and speak. I think women do it so well. As men, we always have that thug tear. And as a man, you don't want to break down and cry because you're thinking, hey, what will my woman think? What will the people think? But if loss has taught me anything, is that it actually helps to be a man that cries, because it means that you're actually strong, because you're actually in touch with your emotions, as opposed to how we grew up. Like, most of us have never seen maybe our fathers cry. But I think maybe as a generation, I think if men break down more, then maybe we can also see GBV go down and everything. So hopefully that is the message, to be like, to see a woman and see her pain, and as a man then be able to relate and say, I caused this. Because the background story is that it's caused by a man. But it's not something that comes to fruition in terms of the film, because even in most of these cases where women have been murdered by men, it's not the guy that you think, hey, that guy looks like a murderer. It's actually the sweet guy who brought roses, who everybody's first shocked that he did it before it happens.
Yeah. Sorry, that made me a bit emotional. See that I'll get to you just stop. Okay, so Humulimo, one of my closest friends, and it's so amazing when somebody practices what they preach. He's the reason why I have the standards that I do in my life. When somebody breaks my heart, always there. When I'm messing up, we literally sit around a table with Tlholo, and they tell me that I'm doing wrong, or if they tell me that that person is doing wrong, but I'm never wrong. But they do it anyways. And it's the reason why I'm able to heal from so many pain and past traumas, because I'm able to be bare in front of them as my friends. And thank you. And just thank you guys.
That's nice to hear.
It's beautiful to have a friend like you. You guys are more. Okay, Tire.
Yeah, you touched on it a bit, né? You see, the film had women in there, How would you tell it from a male's perspective? Because we hardly don't talk. I think it's difficult for guys to, you've said it before, fact here. How would you tell it? Let's say it was just guys.
So basically, as guys, someone breaks your heart, the first thing I tell you is that let's go out, let's drink, there's another woman. So we are doing everything else except speaking. And it's a historical thing, because we grew up hearing the word inandota, which means be strong. You heard it from our great-grandfathers, our grandfathers. So the women were always allowed to cry. The women were always allowed to show emotion. But as men, you had to hold it up so that you could be strong for the women. And then when you hold in that pain and you don't release it, then you find vices that aren't actually good. By the time that it might lead to drugs, it might lead to you hitting a woman, and you always say, I won't do that. But because of the pain, which is not an excuse, that builds up, that's what happens. So if I could tell it from a guy's perspective, is I'd encourage guys to just chill, relax, and sit down, and if something hurts you, then vocalize it. And let's put the alcohol away, let's put the politics away, switch off your phone, let's not talk about the sports and all of that, and let's just sit around and say, okay, how did that make you feel? You always hear girls like, Chomi, how are you? As guys, you always, someone, passes on, and you just hold them like this and you say they'll be okay, because you don't even know as a guy how do you express it. And even if right now we're at McDonald's and as a guy I start crying, everybody's like, hey, look at that guy, when's that? And everybody wants to laugh or video it. But if it's a woman, all the women will run, like you saw she was crying, they grab the tissue and stuff. So as a guy, if I start breaking down, then I think as a guy we need to be more sensitive to say masculinity doesn't have to do with anything in terms of emotions. And actually the strong man is the man that cries, and that says, I'm in touch with my emotions, but I'm still a man at the end of the day. I'm still gonna hold up my front for my family. But at this moment, I need to sit and I need to cry. And from a woman's perspective, it's just to help your husband or your man. If they cry, they still in daughter, but at that moment, they need to break down and then they'll pick themselves up, because women's words also build us as men. Your guy can say anything to you, any guys, but the moment maybe you're afraid of flies and your lady's angry and she says, I don't know why I trust a guy who's afraid of flies. That breaks you down more than what any other guy can say. So I think if we get that support, and as men, we take it upon ourselves, you know, because in the Bible it says that Adam had dominion over animals, but he was still tricked by a snake. So at the end, if we were not men walking in our purpose and in our light and following God, then we derail and we try to, and that's what leads to GBV and everything. Because a man in his purpose, following God, will never do those things. So yeah.
A man needs to walk in his purpose.
Yes,
You ate.
sir.
You ate
You
with
ate
that.
that.
You ate that up. One more question.
Congratulations again. That was great. Can you maybe talk us through the cinematic rationale? We were just talking about how it feels like a French-inspired film. It feels like something you see at like a cinema nouveau. So can you maybe speak us through that process and that, the rationale?
Before I answer the question, so I just want to say something and I'll answer the question. So this movie was shot in 2021, and let me first start by answering the question. So when we shot it in 2021, Peace Busibe, who's our director of photography, he's the one that had the idea to film it first in that spec that you see it as a vlog, so that when she puts the camera down and it opens up, that's when you get to see sort of the whole room. And yeah, it was inspired also by that French Revolution in terms of filmmaking, especially the changing of color. The whole movie is bright until she puts down her filters and you get to see her real life. So we were also trying to show that when someone has the camera up, they're also dictating what they want you to see. So they're showing you the parts of them that they are okay with you seeing. But the black sides are the part that we actually need to go into and see. But by the time we see it, it's already too late. I hope I answered the question. So just to touch on something. So we shot the movie in 2021. After shooting the movie, hard drives were lost. Then we shot it again, then we lost the software. And as we shot it again, then we actually lost our director of photography, Peace Busibe, in 2023. Yeah, 2023. So I'd also like us just to have a moment of silence for him, just for a few minutes. Thank you. And then after that, then we got director Vinny who put it together. Something also happened to his computer. While we were editing, something also happened to that computer. So from 2021, there's a whole lot of things. And then just 3 weeks before we were about to put the movie out, then my brother died. So it was a story of sort of perseverance from us at the back of the screen, because so many times we wanted to give up. I mean, you shot it in 2021, you shot it in a day, everything went well. But the release takes so long. And you start to say, is this movie cursed or what's happened? But it's part of life, you learn from it. And whenever you are on the brink of not just greatness of, hey, our name's on the film, but the story it tells, the amount of conversations we know that we will have, then the devil starts to work overtime to ensure that that message doesn't come out. Because it's not about, at the end, it's, we get credit, but the story is the one that we hope will move forward. And people will be, men will talk, women will talk, and those conversations we won't hear, but we hope that it has sort of an effect on people and it moves on. Daniel and Lesedi, the producer and executive producer, they are the reason for the 100 re-edits that we have. At the end, it did help it because I've watched it so many times I can't see certain things. And they come in with that fresh perspective to say, no, change this, change that. And the reason why we have this final film is because of them, which is also the job of the producer and executive producer, be like, yeah, this doesn't work, change it here. So it was a lot of back and forth to say, okay, the music, certain scenes I wanted to keep out that didn't make sense. But at the end, I listened to them, and
so I think
this is
maybe
what we have.
You use the word reshoot. It's re-edit. I think that.
Re-edit. Yeah. Okay.
It was. She was a
We
One
shot
shot.
once.
Clean shot.
Okay, one last question.
Okay, no problem. What's next? I think that's the big question for me. I look at it, it has so many legs. We didn't see her being buried. She could have survived. And I'm a person who believes in for every good, there's a bad, and for every bad, there's a good. So what's next?
As in, are we doing another one?
The message is there. The message is there, which is check on your friend. What happens when you check on your friend?
Okay. So in terms of the movie, is just going to be, there won't be any part 2 to it. It's just you know, like classical movies, you don't make a second one. They're okay like that. In terms of what's next is the conversation we hope that it inspires when it comes out next week, Friday, on the 8th of July. You guys can share the link to everybody. It'll be on YouTube. And since you guys were a part of this, I also challenge you guys to go and foster those conversations. Because if you guys all saw this movie and you guys can convince 2 people to have that conversation, and they can convince 2 people, then the seed can continue. Yeah.
Okay, guys, that's a wrap.
Yeah, it was a really great movie. I thought it had our attention from the moment it started, just because it was a vlog style, so many of us could relate with scrolling and seeing something like that. And then we're taken through her day, and we just kind of not expecting what we see at the end of it, which was a really great turn. And I think at the end, the way it ends, it leaves the whole room quiet, because we all take a moment to go, sure, that is very real. And you take a moment to reflect in yourself, how often have I checked my friends? How often do I call my friends to see how they're doing? So, no, it was a really good movie. Good reflection, good conversation starter also. Yeah, and I can't wait for more people to see it.
Yeah, it's amazing. It's a good thing. I want to congratulate my son for doing such thing. Really, I will support this, and I think I will invest more for him to do more because of the support he got from the youngsters and the message of the movie. That is so much beyond his structure, beyond his age. But in any way, I say congratulations, boy. Keep it up. Thank you.
Okay, thoughts on the movie. I think I loved the acting. Everything was well thought out, and it was actually very. I think we all hide behind cameras sometimes with our beautiful smiles, but then there's always a real person behind the camera, and I think they pictured that very well. So yeah, those are my thoughts. Congratulations to everybody involved in the movie, and I love it.